Now, welcome everybody. We're out on Hope Avenue. Coming up behind me is Mr. Big, and I wanted to give you a big update really on everything that's happening. Let's see how Mr. Big is doing first. Hey, Mr. Big has been here for a couple of weeks now. He's doing fantastic. I have to keep him off the camera because all you could hear would be him breathing, and myself. I've got the flu. Back from America, where we had a wonderful trip. Viewing plans for Tina's hospital, which is what today's video is going to be about. I'm going to show you some of the plans that we've got. I'm also going to walk you through the space. I mean, all this behind me is going to be Tina's hospital, and the plans are layered on top of that now. So we're going to put some of these in the video for you, some of the actual plans of Tina's hospital, with a little bit of tinkering still to go. But I wanted to really give you a sense of the overall mission and everything that's happening here. Even little Mario has joined us now. He comes on every single walk. I'm walking him and Mr. Big, who I call Turbo Hippo now because he's a very fast walker and he looks like a hippo. But yeah, today's video is going to be more of a general update because so much is happening. I have to say I'm never traveling again for a couple of reasons. I always get sick. You can probably hear I've got the flu, jet lagged. But it was really important to go to America because there was a number of reasons to go there. I was there for 5 days, 6 days actually, maybe 7 with travel, but I missed the dogs so much. My heart is really here on Hope Avenue. I'm only happy when I'm here helping the dogs. So it was a bit of a necessary evil to travel, but I do love it being back here. It's so good for the heart and soul. But the reasons for going there was to see Tina's hospital, which I'll show you the plans for in the second half of the video. It was also, we have some new American staff starting. We're a charity in the US, so we obviously are building out the team there. And also had a bunch of meetings about other things and went to see a shelter where we got Pepper, Jack Cheese, the dog, rehomed last week. But let me tell you a little bit about some of the dogs that we have here at the moment. I'm just going to reach in. Whoa, he's a little bit down below me, but lovely little Phoenix. Phoenix is like a little teddy bear. I'm going to sit down with him and we can tell you about the hospital, aren't we? Let's go over and sit beside Tina's grave. So at the moment, little Phoenix, you might remember them. They were in a cage, him and his sister Faith. They were in a terrible state. It took them about I would say 48 hours to get them fixed up in the vets. We had to sedate them, they were so bad. But Phoenix, we're sitting now beside Tina's grave, and I'll explain why that's important in a second. There she is behind me. But the hospital is obviously so important, and it's important for little dogs like Phoenix because at the moment his sister Faith, we've saved her eye, I think. It's looking very good. It's gone from 90% of her chance of her eye being lost to 90% they might save it now. I don't think she'll get much sight back in it, but the eye is going to be saved. But she's been in the vets now. She's also on heat, and it was driving the male dogs crazy. But she is away. But why it would be so lovely to have the hospital for dogs like these two who need the attention. I think it's funny, you can see how small Phoenix is. That's an Apple AirTag, and that gives you some sense of his size. It's really hard to tell how big dogs are sometimes. But when we've got the hospital here, which is very close, she won't have to go anywhere. He's missing her terribly at the moment when she's down in the vets because they're inseparable. But having the hospital here will be a huge step. You can see his living space behind is kind of cobbled together. It's a little outdoor terrace, I like to call it. But yeah, the trip to America was fantastic. I have to say, like I was saying, it absolutely shattered me. Because there's so much, I'm just going to put him back into his little play area. Because there's so much going on, you do have to travel. You can't build an international charity from a tropical island. You can do a lot of it from here, but there's a lot more that has to be done. So let me tell you a little bit about the hospital now. The reason I chose to sit beside Tina's grave is because the architects, who are a wonderful firm called DannyFoster.com, put so much work into it. And I would have thought a hospital is just, you throw up a building and you put some x-ray rooms in there or whatever. But we've been chatting to them for about 4 months, I would say at this stage, 5 months maybe, I'm not sure, a long time. Meetings every week, and what they came up was a concept and the plans for it's But it's not just a building. This is so much more. Like, the reason I'm sitting here is the designs that they have is like kind of has a walkway around the hospital. Tina's grave is a focus for it. They really picked up on Brittany's going mad in the background over there. Oh, it's Mr. Big. Mr. Big has gone over to see Brittany and she's not happy about it. The reason, yes, that I'm sitting here with the grave is because the buildings that you can see in the drawings, it wraps around. There's a walkway that wraps around the hospital, so anybody who came to visit, or ourselves, or people working there, can come out and have a reflective moment in the sort of walkway that goes around the hospital and sort of looks out onto Tina's grave. That's one of many unbelievable features. Inside is where the real magic will happen. There'll be space for overnight dogs. There's an emergency ward, there's x-ray rooms, there's a whole list of stuff that we've got in there, and the next stage of it is actually happening at the moment. Final designs, and then I have to come up. I'm not good with the terms. It might be like schematic designs, or it might be whatever the next stage of more practical, more detailed designs, costings, those sort of things are coming up, and then we'll have probably in a month or 2 months we'll have final designs and pairing up with a local architect, and we can start going. We have, as you know, some of the money raised already, a good bit of the money raised, so that's not the biggest worry that I have. The biggest worry, I must say, is like permits and financial, not financial, permits and like licenses and like just the building regulations, stuff like that not my area of expertise, but the architects are really, really good. And if you look at some of these photos that Megan will put into the video and some of the artwork, this is going to be one special hospital. I also wanted to show you around here, like what we have at the moment. I think it's pretty spectacular. I love it, just in terms of like the flowers and the place where the dogs can stay, and we do a decent job here with rehoming dogs. Something I wanted to finish the video on is some of the new dogs in their homes. But this is beautiful. But if you see this video that Megan puts into the edit now, this was jungle 15 months ago. It was absolutely jungle. There was nothing here whatsoever. So we've done pretty well with what we've got, but the space where the hospital is going to be now is going to be cleared very, very soon. I would say clearing will start, I would say, within the next month, to be honest. All here. So there's a big, I might have some drone footage of that. There's a big area there. It's all going to be cleared, and the hospital's going to be there, and it's going to be about twice the size of what we've got at the moment. So incredibly exciting, but also a little bit daunting, I would say. Like, I've never built a hospital, done anything like that, but the dogs are going to benefit from it so much. So I'm going to just go into the office now because it's getting really hot. I have to put Mr. Big away. You can see Mr. Big here. He loves to come over and visit little Phoenix, but you can see that he starts to struggle with the heat. So he needs to go back into his cool area, and I'm going to go into the office, talk to you about the final plans, and tell you about some of the dogs coming and going at the moment, because there's been some really good news stories recently. Now, back in the office. It's just very hot outside. I wanted to get Mr. Big in because he was struggling there. I wanted to tell you just about the little bits of the comings and goings and how things kind of go in waves, I would say. What I have behind me is like our adoption board. We're down to 10 dogs now at the moment, which just before I went to New York, or maybe a week before that, we were at 18 or 20. So in the last 3-4 weeks, we just have these huge peaks and troughs where dogs go to get adopted, and dogs, come in that are sick. Here are some of the wonderful stories that we've had over the years, or over the months really. Mr. Fox, Buttons, Spice Girls, who else is up there? Lady, Brad Pitt, etc. And if you look at our map here, you can see we've got little tiny pins where they've gone all over the world. But so we're down to 10 at the moment, and people might look at that and be like, well, you're a shelter, why have you only got 10 dogs? Aren't there so many more dogs out there? Yeah, there are. But we like to do a lot of interviews. We like to really place the dogs in their best possible homes. So we've got recently, the amount of dogs that have gone out is insane. Taylor Swift went to a wonderful family in Thailand, and it's really important for us to rehome in Thailand because you can't just send all the dogs overseas. You've got the 5 Spice Girl puppies who got rehomed, unbelievable homes. in Thailand. Libby, who's just arrived in America, which is just unbelievable. Toffee, who was super skinny, and she's just arrived in Edinburgh. We've got Eve, who is the burns victim, who recovered so well. I really miss her because she used to be the little office dog. Although Mr. Mario down there has taken over the spot. Well, there was 2 of them before. But yeah, dogs going all over the place. I think we've got about 10, 12 have gone very recently. And what happens now is we actually have some capacity, and I can't say that too loud because what happens is my phone lights up and everybody sends me their dog problems, which is fine, but we just need to manage the flow. So like I said, we never want to turn into a place where it's just a big sad shelter that we can't get rid of dogs. So there's always a flow, and at the moment we're down to 10 dogs, but I'd say give it about 5 or 6 days, we'll be full again. We'll have 6, 7 more dogs that come in urgent need of care. So it's a bit of a lull, which is also good for the people. Like, it's very tough. It's very, very tough to look after sick dogs and manage them and organise their travel and drive them back and forth to the vet. So me being away gave everybody a little lull, and now we're going to go back to a bit of madness. I can feel it. The flu that I still have, I'm just trying to get rid of, and I think I should be ready by tomorrow. But it's time to go and get some dogs in again. And the hard part of that is that you know that the dogs are out there suffering. But sometimes when you're running on empty, like I've been in the last week, there's only so much you can do. Like, you've got to a little bit prioritize your own health, getting back on your feet, because I was in bed with the flu. So anyway, great news. Hospital is happening. One other big thing that we're now doing is we're sterilising. I just saw the numbers for last month, June. 5,000 dogs we sterilised in the month of June, which is just mind-blowing, if I'm quite honest. If you think that last year we did 2,000 dogs, we've done 5,000 this month. So there's sterilising, there's a hospital being built, there's dogs coming and going. We're moving from feeding 800 dogs to 1,000 dogs a day. So that's another big jump, up to 1,000 dogs a day. And another very exciting thing, which I think I'll make a video of later in the week, is we have our first school visit. We have 18 kids coming here on Thursday to tour the place and interact with the dogs, and we're trying to put some lessons together for them. So, bit of a long video. I just wanted to kind of explain all the things that are happening. There's so much, and sometimes you can feel like you're juggling a lot. Are we helping the dogs enough? Are we doing too much in education? Are we not doing enough sterilising? Is the hospital moving fast enough? Is your own health doing okay? There's a lot to juggle. Should I go to New York? I asked myself that 10 times, and it was the right decision. I learned a lot there, but my heart is here with the dogs, and I'm very, very happy to be back. So hope that gives you a good overview. If you ask any questions, it's me answering them on YouTube down in the comments. So feel free to ask as many questions as you want, and I'll answer them as best as I can. But thanks for watching. Might have been a bit of a ramble today. I had a lot to cover. And as soon as I push stop, I'll realise I missed something. But that's today's YouTube. Subscribe, like, share, subscribe. All of those things would be amazing. Thank you.